Monday Night Raw took place in Salt Lake City, Utah tonight, and you had a giant snowstorm that almost canceled the whole show. It was a pretty big deal, but luckily they made it through. The fans got there, and they had a decent show, I thought, overall. But before I get to Raw, I wanted to mention the Super Bowl, which took place last night between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. I predicted the 49ers would win, and through three quarters, I was right. I was like, oh, it was 20-10. I was rooting for the Chiefs, but I predicted the 49ers would win. Then all of a sudden, in the last 8 minutes, the Chiefs explode. They score 3 touchdowns, and they were trailing by double digits, and they ended up winning by double digits. Pretty great game. It took place in Miami, Florida, by the way, which also hosted WrestleMania 28 in that same venue. I'm surprised they haven't gone back to Miami. They chose Tampa this year, even though Miami's probably like a bigger city, or it's more of a tourist destination, but I think they'll eventually go back. Plus, when Miami has a Super Bowl, it's tough to go with the WrestleMania. And speaking of Tampa, next year's Super Bowl, which is Super Bowl 55, takes place in Tampa, Florida. But of course, WrestleMania also takes place in Tampa, Florida, and Raymond James Stadium in a couple months. And this show, of course, is continuing to build to WrestleMania as we are on the road to it. I do not like the pirate sign. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling that WrestleMania logo. I don't know, it looks awkward, but the logo's there. The show starts off with Randy Orton making his way to the ring. So he really doesn't say anything. He basically teases he's going to say something, and the fans boo him like crazy. They cheer for Edge. He just walks away, and that's it. So they have a long time to build. They have still 8 weeks. They'll build it well. And Edge, since he's part-time now, I guess he can take as much time as he wants. Since from what I heard, it's a 3-year deal worth $3 million per year, so it's a 3-year, $9 million deal. And it's not a Brock contract, but it's close. I'm thinking to myself, look, I like Edge. I don't mean to disrespect him, but was he a big enough star to get that kind of contract, close to Brock? I don't know about this, but anyway, the whole Orton Edge stuff was weird. Weird. It was actually a good segment. I thought it was well. And of course, they're just starting with the big build-up, and they have a lot more time to advance it. Next, we go to Liv Morgan against Lana. Liv Morgan destroys Lana again. It was a quick match. Liv just crushes her. She gets the win, and I love her leather outfit, I have to say, but Liv beats Lana after a flatliner. However, after the match, we have a special return. It's Ruby Riott. She actually gets a decent ovation. Ruby Riott makes her way to the ring. She's been out for 9 months. Liv is crying. She tries to hug Ruby, and they hug. However, Ruby turns on Liv, hits her with an STO, kicks her, beats her down, and Lana just watches in the corner. I was waiting for Ruby to just take a shot at Lana, but just had Lana laughing at her on the corner. I didn't understand it. But Ruby makes her return. She turns on Liv, and after she's done with Liv, Lana gives Liv an X Factor. So I guess Liv and Lana's done. Next week go to Ruby and Liv, and maybe they do a whole lesbian storyline or with Mandy and Sonya on SmackDown. That's what they should be doing anyway. They showed the weather in Salt Lake City, how bad it was, and the fans were all there. Anyways, Drew McIntyre faces Mojo Rawley. He kills him in a minute. He cuts a promo after. He cuts a promo before. Whatever. I was never a huge fan of this. The backstage, we see Charlie Caruso interviewing Buddy Murphy, Akam, and Razor, and Seth Rollins. However, he tells him to get off, and Charlie interviews Seth. He calls her Chuck, which is just annoying. But since he's a heel, I guess it makes sense because he's a douchebag heel. Went on for a while, and he cuts a promo on Drew. And he says Drew better start preparing for a new opponent at WrestleMania because he's going to take the belt from Brock again. Did not work out that way. So next, you have the Elimination Tag match. You had Akam, Razor, and Buddy Murphy against Kevin Owens, Ivar, and Eric in an Elimination 6-man tag match. This was pretty good. I thought this was a well-done matchup here. I enjoyed it for the most part. What happens is KO teaming with Eric and Ivar. They both get hurt unanimously. What happens is Ivar he gets hurt on the outside. I think it was he missed a crossbody, and he was running crossbody on the outside, and he smashes into the LED board, and they do the whole gimmick thing with the LED board where it loses power or whatever. That hurts him. Back in the ring, Eric, the refs are checking out on Ivar. However, Eric's in the ring, and what happens is he gets crushed with a curb stomp or a blockout by Rollins, and then Buddy Murphy pins Eric, and Eric's eliminated, and the referees check on Ivar, and eventually they have to call it off. They take him to the back, so both the War Raiders are eliminated. It just becomes Kevin Owens against Buddy Murphy in the AOP, so it's KO against 1-on-3. He fights back, however. He's able to hit a pop-up power bomb and pin Buddy Murphy. Then he hits a stunner, and Kevin Owens then would take out Akam, so it's 1-on-1. KO against Razor. And when I saw that, it seems like they're going to push Razor. I think Vince McMahon would push him. He's almost like a Roman Reigns kind of look. Seth Rollins interferes in the match, and he distracts Owens, and Razor hits a clothesline and a spine buster. He gets the 3 count. So Razor pins Kevin Owens. Seth's team wins. They celebrate after, and they get the victory here, so KO loses. Next, backstage, we go to Charlie Caruso interviewing Ricochet, and I just have to say how bad Ricochet is on the mic. He's the worst promo in the company. I like him. He's a great talent. He's very fun to watch, but he's horrendous on the mic. There's no excuse anymore. He's just really bad. Next, we go to Aleister Black against Eric Young. Aleister Black murders Eric Young. Of course, nothing to say here. After the match, he gets on the mic and he tells you to remember when you were young. When you were young, they told you can grow up to be whatever you want to be. Then they realize that it's the opposite. He says he's a firm believer of people should choose whoever they choose to be, and that drives relentless competition. So that was it with Black. I don't know what they're going to do with this guy. I hope they don't mess it up. Next, we go to Humberto Carrillo, who comes out, and his opponent's Angel Garza, who's being managed by Zelina Vega. So Zelina, I guess, manages Latin men in particular. That's what her role is going to be. So she's going to manage Angel Garza once Andrade is out. I mean, maybe she can manage her husband, but he's not mine, so if it doesn't work, Aleister, I don't know. I still think they can do that whole thing. You're not doing it at WrestleMania, but I still think they eventually should do Andrade and Zelina Vega against Andrade and Charlotte. But Andrade is out for a while, so she's going to be with Angel Garza, and they're going to have him feud with Humberto Carrillo. Zelina tries to get Angel to kill Humberto, and he's about to give him the DDT on the outside. However, Rey Mysterio comes out. He makes his big surprise return. Rey is back, and then it becomes Rey against Angel Garza, and it's a decent matchup here. Rey's back. He gets a good ovation. However, Angel Garza finally gets Rey back on the outside. He gets the hammerlock DDT onto the floor, onto the exposed concrete, taking out Rey. Angel Garza with an emphatic debut, and we'll see what happens once Andrade comes back. Maybe it'll be a tag team, but Zelina Vega is going to be managing Angel Garza. I guess he'll feud with Humberto and Rey in the meantime. Charlotte Flair comes out to the ring, points to the WrestleMania sign, and she teases, I've held the Raw Women's title, and I've beaten Becky before. I've held the SmackDown Women's title, and I've beaten Bayley before. I want, and the fans at this moment start cheering for Rhea Ripley, and then Charlotte brings up NXT, says she has respect for NXT. Rhea Ripley's music hits. She gets a good pop. That's your match. So Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, NXT Women's title. There was rumors. It's confirmed now. That's the match. They're also going to get, I believe, Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler. And I don't know about the SmackDown Women's title, but I think those are their two main WrestleMania matches. The SmackDown title is probably the third biggest, but we're going to get Rhea and Charlotte for sure. Rhea challenges Charlotte Flair to WrestleMania. Says, you've beaten Becky and Bayley, you haven't beaten me, and I've beaten you, and she did. She actually pinned her a few weeks ago before Survivor Series. She holds the title up at Charlotte. Charlotte smiles, she leaves the ring, Rhea gets a good pop, and then Charlotte just says woo on the mic, and they announce later in the show she's going to be on NXT, and I assume she'll accept the challenge. I hope they don't just completely scoff over Bianca Belair, because they're trying to push her, but I guess they can say the winner of Rhea and Bianca NXT TakeOver Portland in a couple weeks, actually. The winner of that match will face Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. But I definitely think Rhea's going to beat Bianca. And that sets up WrestleMania, and that's a big program. Sarah Screeber interviews Bobby Lashley in the back. Didn't care about this at all. Boring segment. Bobby Lashley sucks. Asuka comes out. She faces Natalia. Natalia's wearing an armband tribute to Kobe Bryant or something. And they mentioned it on commentary because it affected her because when Kobe Bryant's daughter died, Natalia reminded that relationship, Kobe and his daughter in basketball, similar to Natalia and her late father, Jimmy Evelyn Neidhart's relationship with the wrestling. So I guess it meant a lot to her. She wore the arm brace, or sorry, the what's it called? The arm pad, or sorry, I forgot that wrong. Natalia and Asuka, okay matchup. The teeth Natalia could win, but he knew never really took it seriously. Asuka gets a submission, and she gets a rematch with Becky. After the match, Becky comes out. She's wearing glasses indoors. I'm thinking to myself, the fans are going to start to turn on Becky. I'm starting to sense it. It's going to happen sooner than later. Once she starts to feud with Shayna, she might get cheers. I don't think Shayna's not going to get cheered over Becky, I assume, but fans could turn on her. Becky accepts Asuka's challenge for a rematch. Kairi Sane tries to attack Becky, but Becky kicks her ass and sets up Asuka and Becky, I believe, next week for the Raw Women's title, or close to it. They announced Charlotte's going to be on NXT. Seth Rollins promo backstage about the AOP, or I think it's Sarah Scraper ring, or Charlie Caruso, one of the chicks. Goes on for a while. So yeah, it's Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's title against Asuka next week. Main event time. So Seth Rollins against Ricochet against Bobby Lashley, number 1 contenders match for Super Showdown. Not a bad match up here. It was okay. Ricochet gets the win. No surprise at all. I expect Ricochet to win for sure. And he's going to face Brock Lesnar at Super Showdown for the WWE title, and the winner will face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. So Brock comes out after Ricochet wins, gives him an F5, and that's how the show ended.